So here we go.
All right, guys, welcome to our team call tonight. My name is Joanie McLeod, and this is my husband, James McLeod, and we're calling from Knoxville, Tennessee. We are so excited that we are closing out. This is our last team call of 2019 of this decade. That is just absolutely crazy to me. And there's so much. Last week we talked on the call about reflecting of your week and really allowing the boomerang of just pulling, maybe the slingshot of pulling it back so that you can blast off into the new year and into the new decade. And so we're excited because on this call tonight, we are going to be hearing from one of our leaders on the call, which we're excited about. And then also James is going to be sharing something special on this call of really what's in store for the Isagenix field as a whole that we are all and have the ability to all be a part of. So before we kick off this call and I let James intro our leader for tonight, I just wanted to make just a quick announcement about New Year kickoff that's taking place in Phoenix, Arizona, in about 4 weeks. So we are all heading to Phoenix, Arizona on January. The dates are specifically January 23rd through the 25th. It's a Friday and a Saturday. And so all of our team, we're all flying out on Thursday, coming back home on Sunday. For those that earned the Scottsdale Summit, they're going to be staying a couple days extra and experiencing a really amazing time with another millionaire top earner couple, Kelly and Tyler Dickerhoof, and their 6 callers as well. So if you haven't already purchased your NYKO ticket, do so in your back office. It is a phenomenal event. Out of all of the events, this one and Celebration are 2 that you do not want to miss. These events are game changing. So if you haven't already purchased your ticket, do that and take this time, the next couple of weeks, to really connect with your team about getting them to NYKO, because events do change the game. And you guys who are on this call, you've heard story after story of what these events do. So without further ado, James.
Well, I mean, to piggyback on top of that and then to intro to our leader tonight, who's excited to start this new decade with just a newfound resolution for where you're going in your life? Right? I know there's all this every year, but an internal resolution of this is where I'm taking my life. This is where I'm taking my mind. This is where I'm taking, my relationships. Is anybody else feeling that energy building of saying, this decade is going to be different. This decade is going to be new and fresh. I know for Odd, that's been, is the internet, I'm getting a lot of choppy faces. Am I cutting in and out? A little bit? Maybe it's lag.
No, I think you're cutting in and out.
Can you guys hear me?
Can follow.
Okay. It's a little lagged. All right, let's turn here. You turn it up. Okay. Pause real quick, guys. Make sure we're.
My Wi-Fi's off.
Okay, cool. Okay. Is it better? Hopefully. All right, I'm gonna keep rolling, and you guys.
No, we don't want we don't want it to be choppy.
You guys text us if it pauses. Somebody can text us because that is going through the chats are a little bit slower.
Okay, it is better.
So with all of that, I've been the whole business, you guys, and we say this all the time. It's about a consistency, a willingness to show up, giving it time to grow. The seeds that you're planting right now, we said this all throughout the 90-day action plan, are they germinate and they grow and they blossom months in arrearance. And so the seeds that you're planting, the work that you're doing is not being done in vain right now. And who we get to hear from tonight is somebody that, I understand I'm a little bit biased when it comes to this, but I know that I'm not the only one that feels this way in terms of how I admire this woman, how I look up to her work ethic and her commitment to better herself for herself every single day. That is my beautiful mom, Joanie McLeod. And for those of you who do not know, let me just share with you guys a little bit about her. She has been in Isagenix for, I believe, almost 6 years, correct, Mom? 5.5 years. and has been consistently working. She has grown herself tremendously. And those of you who have been around her have seen that blossoming, that evolution. It's phenomenal. And she's done something this past year that I got to watch unfold day in and day out, where my mom, she's taking product B, so she's, she looks like she's in her 20s. I'll let her disclose her age if she wants to. But you guys, she ran a cumulative of 1,000 miles this year. 1,000 miles.
That's crazy.
She's a mom of 5, and she set a goal to run 1,000 miles this year, and she stayed on track with it. She had setbacks, and I'm going to let her share all about that here in the middle of this call. But I, in talking with her, I said, Mom, you need to share this. You need to share, because I talked to her as she was, reflecting on this past year. She goes, James, it was really challenging. There was a lot of stuff that was really hard, and it applied so hand in hand with my business. And I said, you have to share what you're talking to me about right now. So Mom, I'm going to hand it over to you. If you want to take 10, 15 minutes and just share, what running 1,000 miles was like for you this year, and maybe how you saw some of the business. Unbelievable. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thanks, James. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And let me know if it gets choppy, but yeah, guys, it was crazy. So I'll just walk you through it, what I've learned. Most of you, or some of you may not know, but I have been an avid runner for decades. And I don't mind telling you that this past summer, I hit a new decade and I turned 60. Well, it's like they say, it's just a number. So as a matter of fact, it kind of makes me laugh, because it's funny to think that here I am, 60. It's funny to me, but I'm super grateful. And in those years of running, I have had different goals that I've set. I've done 3 marathons. I've done quite a few half marathons. You have to have goals and pace yourself if you're going to do those things. So I've done that, but I'm mostly a therapeutic runner. There have been 10 or 12 years ago, I set some goals to do 3 20-mile runs in the summer. And that was just because the marathon training was so wonderful. I wanted to benefit from the marathon training. So I set my own personal goal to have 3 20-mile runs. Well, why 3? Why not just 1? Before Labor Day was the deadline. It's because I'm stubborn enough and bullheaded enough that if I said 1 20-mile run, I wouldn't be smart about it, or I might not be smart about it, and I'd go ahead and do it one day to reach my deadline and probably hurt myself. But my reason for setting the goal was personal growth and personal development, not to, say, woohoo, I did it. So that's why I set 3 20-mile runs. Well, I've never done cumulative miles for the year, never. And I randomly, last December, it truly was random. I just said, I'm going to run 1,000 miles this year. Well, that's one of the first things that I've learned in the course of the year is a random goal is very different than an intentional goal. So my random goal, okay, I did the math. That means 20 miles a week, 4 buffer weeks. I run 20 miles a week often, so it should be no big deal. Because we hear your goals need to be specific. So that was a specific goal. They need to be measurable. That was measurable. And I even broke it down. But that next part of goal setting is accountability. And I told no one. I didn't tell anybody. I just was going to do it because I just didn't feel like I needed to tell anyone. Well, the other thing that I know about myself is that the winter months are the hardest months for me to get my miles in. So the parallel and doing this goal now is I'm asking myself when and where and why are the hardest times for me in isogenics and connecting with people and following up with people. And I'm asking myself that question because y'all, here's what happened. I looked back at my calendar today and I knew that it was sparse in those months, but here's the reality. I ran one 20-mile week between January 1st and the end of April. One. All the others were less. So how in the world am I going to reach that goal if I'm just lollygagging and telling myself, well, I'll catch up in the summer because I love to run in the summer. And the only reason I found out my deficit the end of April was because I told a friend that I had set a goal for 1,000 miles. And that friend said, so how are you doing? Well, I track my miles weekly, but I had not been adding them up monthly. And I did, and I was 79 miles behind schedule. And I was just like, oh no, wow, what do I do? So I've learned from John Maxwell that you can have a proactive action or you can have a reactive result. And the reactive result is you change the goal when the plan isn't working. I could have easily changed the goal. Oh my goodness, it's now May 1st. How am I ever going to do this? Let me just change the goal. But instead, I did the proactive action, which is where you, and I didn't know this, I'm learning this in hindsight. This is what I did, and now I'm understanding what I did, and I'm valuing it even more, so I'm sharing it with you. I changed the plans to still reach the goal. And I know that in running, I can only increase 10% a week of my weekly miles in order to stay healthy and forego injuries. Otherwise, if I try to make up that deficit too quickly, I'd have to abort the whole goal because I'd get injured and not be able to do it. So I'm thinking, okay, and so much of whenever I mention the isogenics, this is a lot of hindsight reflection. Okay, those times when I just say, I'm going to do this, and I plug along too fast and I'm pushing too hard and I burn out. Y'all, I run with people who do 50 miles a week and that's their norm. That's not my norm. So I don't need to be freaked out that I can't do 50 miles a week. There are people that connect and follow up and enroll at a much higher numerical rate than I do. That's okay. I just need to accept where Joanie is and go, okay, be consistent, be consistent, be consistent. And if I'm never tracking my numbers, how in the world do I know how I'm doing? I think I'm being consistent because I'm always talking to people and I'm always developing relationships and connecting. But am I really, you see what I'm saying? So I had to take the time to reevaluate and do the math to figure out, now what do I do? And at the end of May, my deficit was 66 miles. The end of June, it was 35 miles. And guess what? I didn't need anybody to ask me at the end of each month, how are you doing? I was so ready for the end of that month to come. I was like, I get to add it up. I get to see where I am. Where am I now? Where am I now? And by the end of July, I was only 13 miles behind. And guys, in August, the end of August, I was half a mile ahead. Half a mile ahead. And I had this huge sigh and the huge temptation. And I have felt it, and some of you have felt it. I can coast. Wow, I can breathe. And I thought, oh no. What if? Because life happens and I don't know what's going to happen, and I've reached certain goals in isogenics and I breathe. And yes, we need to take time to pace ourselves and celebrate. But I thought to myself, I don't want to just relax. I've got to keep going. And my new minimum, as you know, or probably figured out, was 20 miles minimum every week. Well, you look back at January, February, March, April, and it's 5, 11, 13, 17. And I told you 1 20-mile week. And because I'm tracking every week, and you see, and it's almost like somebody put me in overdrive or light speed or something, because there was only from the end of April to the end of September, there was 1 week that was under 20 miles. All of the others were 24, 25, 27, 31, 32, 28. So the end of September, I was 25 miles ahead. And the end of October, I was 32 miles ahead. And the higher I got, it wasn't like, oh, now I can coast. It was like the higher I wanted to get. And I know that for me personally, one of the things that excites me the most with Isagenix is when I have a new enrollee, new blood, fresh blood, someone who's excited, someone that I can coach, someone that I can share this with, and they get to see the visions. And so as I grew in the black more and more, it just got easier to keep going, you know, and that's what we hear momentum does for us, even in the business. And then November hit, and I didn't know I was going to have surgery and that I wouldn't be able to run for 3 weeks. We'll do the math, 20, 40, 60, that's 60 miles that I was going to lose. But I didn't worry because I was already feeling great about myself, because I was reevaluating and adjusting every month. And so by the time but the end of November, I was still 15 miles in the black. And then December came and it was, 20, 40, 60, 80. I only had 51 miles to go. So I got excited and I was tracking every week and doing the math and adding it up, because I thought, I'm going to cross this goal and I won't even know that I've crossed it. So let me keep up with the math. And I decided the week before Christmas Eve, I was going to do it on Christmas Eve. I just picked that day and I knew I had 5.5 miles to go, and it just became so much fun. And guess what? I didn't get a gold medal. I didn't get a cool jacket that says 1,000 miles or whatever. I actually did 1,001 miles, 0.1. So it's 1001.1. But I tell you guys, it was the personal rewards, the personal fulfillment, the personal growth. Being able to share that with a few friends. The people that I was running with, there was only one girl that knew about 3 months ago. I told her that I was doing this. And she's like, oh, cool. Are you doing it with Nashville Striders? And I said, no, what's that? I was just doing it for me. So with Isagenix, I'm doing this for me. It's for my personal goals, my personal fulfillment, what I love and enjoy, the rewards for me in doing this business. And so, those obstacles came, but they didn't derail me. And it just was so fun to grow personally. So much so that I decided, well, it's not even January yet. And I decided 2 weeks ago, I'm doing this again. Why wouldn't I? I want to keep growing. I want to stretch myself more. I'm going to do 1,000 miles again, but it made me think of Trudy Maples, and maybe I'll tell her or message her, because Trudy says, you hit Crystal Executive, then do it again. Hit Crystal Executive, do it again. Just keep doing it over and over and over. So you know what? Maybe for this next decade, until I hit 70, I'll do 1,000 miles every year. I don't know. But now I'm looking at my Isagenix goals and wanting to do the same kind of math and the same kind of strategy, and figure out, we have all kinds of camaraderie and incentives with the company, with Freedom Living, so many great leaders to learn from and push each other. And that's great. And I value that. And I honestly don't know if I could do this without that. However, at the end of the day, I have to lead myself. I have to lead Joanie. I'm the one responsible for me. So I will just share with you that for me, the hardest times in Isagenix are when there's negativity in my life. And a lot of times that's me, And I told James a week or so ago, I said, I had just a mound of negativity in my life, in my head, whatever. And I thought, James isn't available. Of course, I go to the Lord initially, but James isn't available. I'm going to Tony Robbins. And I just put on Tony Robbins. I'm like, okay, I'm getting a shot in the arm. I got to get my head right, And I gave myself permission to rant and get it out, and then just go, okay, I got to readjust, refocus, and move on. And that right there is huge growth for me. What if I had bailed when I realized I was 79 miles behind? If I had not reached 1,000 miles this year, but I continued adjusting and reevaluating honestly with myself, I would still feel as great as if I had reached it. I really think that my satisfaction, personal satisfaction reward would be that was worth it. So the other time that's hard for me with Isagenix is dry seasons. And I know that happens. Dry seasons happen for all of us. There is a purpose for them so that other things can grow, other areas can be cultivated. And so I have to give myself grace there. And that's why I say for me, boy, the life is in the new enrollments, the team camaraderie, all of that. And so I don't know. I don't know if there may be things that you may want to ask James or reiterate, but I'll just end by saying I'm taking away with me this year something that John Maxwell says. He says, be intentional, yes, but turn your good intentions into good actions, and stop accepting your life and start leading your life. And the thing that Joanie's going to end with is, I just want to have fun. You know, that was fun for me. And I do Isagenix because it's fun for me. I'm a part of this culture and this family because it's fun for me. And I'm not saying that because it's all about me, but the joy that I get in this community, this family, this team, these friendships that will last for a lifetime. That's the joy. That's the reward. So that's some of what I've learned, and it's been powerful. And I'm going to do it again. And I'm telling you guys now, I'm not going to wait till the end of April to tell somebody I'm running 1,000 miles in 2020.
That is amazing.
Comment in the chats if you are inspired after hearing my mom talk about this past year. Oh my goodness. Mom.
And how many of you can actually relate? I think what was so powerful to me is the fact that you were behind, but you didn't let the being behind stop you from moving forward. And then you ended up moving so ahead that when life hit you, you were able to take that break so that you could reach the goal at hand. And everything that you shared so coincides in your Isagenix business, you guys. And I just want to thank you so much for sharing that, because I know that relates to so many people, and applying that to your Isagenix business is so powerful. The tracking, like we've talked about. And I know that Lane and Chelsea commented in the chats, and Lindsay Francis is on this line as well. And they both earned the Grand Adventure Challenge, where they tracked everything that was going on. So that's so incredibly powerful. So to close out this call, guys, James this year, for those of you who don't know, I'm pretty sure everybody knows, he was asked by Kathy Cooper to be on the field advisory board for all of Isagenix in North America this year. And he was selected with 5 other top leaders in Isagenix to bring change into the company and into the field. And a lot of what we get to experience is James has been working behind the scenes, and I've watched firsthand the challenges that this has been for him. He shared a little bit about this at the Christmas party. It's been stretching, it's been growing, but what's been really powerful is to see the promotions that Isagenix has come out with. A lot of these things have been the brainchild of James and the brainchild of these 5 other top leaders. And so he's going to share with you, he got on an exclusive field advisory board call this afternoon and was on the call for a pretty long time because
they're all very long.
Of the devotion that they have to bring true change and longevity into the field. And so he's going to close out this call by sharing with you something that Isagenix has never done before, but that the field advisory board feels like is important to implement in 2020, in this coming up week, and in the months ahead, so that all of you who are on this call can have better retention. Comment in the chats if you want better retention, better customer care for all of your customers, and to really drive a deeper community culture and the longevity of Isagenix as a whole. So James?
Well, yeah, I want to fire away because I know we got a couple minutes left on these calls, and I want to end promptly at 9:30 or 6:30, 7:30, wherever you're at in the world. So you guys, we are entering into the biggest season of any health and wellness company, the new year, and if your brain isn't already starting, to spin in that direction, I would encourage you to start leaning in that direction, because now is a time of year, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, where this is going to be a massive, massive couple of months. And so to do that and to, kind of maximize that, what we were talking about doing is doing something that Isagenix has never done before, which is a global IsaBody challenge, collaborated with all of the leaders in Isagenix. Who comment in the chats if you are a part of an IsaBody challenge right now? Comment in the chats. So if you are not familiar with what it is Isagenix 16-week transformation challenge, and you get a $200 product coupon for just completing it. You get chances to be honorable mentions, grand prize winners that win $25,000, $50,000. It's amazing, and you get accountability and support the whole way. But we're going to switch it up a little bit, where we want to start this decade with the biggest surge of people that are so committed to taking their life and their health first to the next level. Mm-hmm. And I think that constitutes and includes all of us. I know for me, the last time if I'm being really honest with you guys, the last time I did an IsaBody was probably this time last year. And it should be one of those things that we're constantly in, and we're constantly restarting and constantly, progressing our health and, inviting others along with us. And so what we're doing is this Thursday, you can mark this, you can write this down, January 2nd. I actually just posted this in Freedom Living Team Business, and I'm going to post it on the product page as well. On isagenixlive.com, we're kicking it off. Emily Vavra is going to be doing a call with Dr. Joshua Plant, who is our chief science officer, one of the brightest brains that I have ever been around. If you have any skeptical people, if you have anybody that has any question or wants to get any more information about Isagenix, this is their call. This is it. So it's not just for people already in Isagenix. This is for prospects. This is for anybody. And what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to do a 16-week transformation challenge within the entire company, but have a call a week with a different trainer regarding a different topic about the IsaBody challenge. Who could get excited if all of these customers, maybe you have inactive customers who are all saying, hey, I want to make 2020 my year. I want to do a 16-week transformation challenge with you. And the second month into 2020, they're already down. They already feel incredible. And you know what? Maybe they become a product sharer because of how good they feel. And they're like, I can't keep my mouth shut. And you have an extra manager, an extra director, just because somebody who is inactive or has been watching for a long time raised their hand and said, I want to do this 16-week transformation challenge with you. Now, like Mom was saying, this is about leading ourselves first. So I'm going to let you guys know I'm starting an IsaBody challenge, and I'm going to do it all the way through. Aud and I both are. We're doing this thing, and we are inviting everybody. I have a template, because what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to text all of our inactive customers. We're going to go back and we're going to text all of the people who maybe haven't ordered Isagenix in a long time, and we're going to comment, or we're going to text all of the people who are current customers and not in an IsaBody challenge. I have this text template, and I'm going to post it on Freedom Living Team Business, so you can copy and paste and send it to all of your customers as well, and create such a rally, such an energy around this, where they don't feel like they're doing this transformation alone. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. And the excitement that's going to come from your business, as we all know, is from transformation after transformation after transformation. Yes, financially, but physically, where they go, you know what, I felt better. The energy went through the roof, and then I started sharing it. So that's what we're going to start. It's going to start this Thursday. As you guys know, there is another secret that's coming out. Some of you already know
on Tuesday.
What that is. And that's going to go in conjunction with this. And so we are so fired up about it. And we're going to be bringing the absolute best in accountability, product education, product hacks, you name it, so that your people, including you, can be empowered and educated your entire 16-week challenge.
The templates that James was talking about were templates that the field advisory board came up with. So what's really awesome is we've done challenges within this team, Freedom Living Team, and all of your teams collectively as a whole, but we've never collaborated like this on the grander scale with one great big vision. And that's what's exciting to us. So the templates that we're all using, Emily Vavra is using, Trudy Maples is using,
Zach Slobin
is using, everybody's using the same thing, so that we can all collectively move towards one goal. And so when we look at this, we're entering into the year. The new year is the biggest surge for health and wellness. So whatever you do in January, February, and March, it sets you up for the whole year. So just like Joanie was talking about on this call, she got in her mind what she was going to do. It wasn't like there weren't things that popped up in her life, but she made a decision and she moved forward from that. So we're really, really excited to partner with everybody in Isagenix to make this happen, because as a whole, as we move forward, our customers are going to have the best when it comes to education, which will cause everybody's retention, all of the energy, everything to just skyrocket.
And so as you reach out, I'm going to post these templates on Freedom Living Team Business. They're very simple. As you have people text you and say, yeah, Lane, I'm in. Yeah, Derek, I'm in. I want to do this. Screenshot those and post them on the group so people can see that other people are jumping in and that the energy is stirring and that there's people that are re-engaging saying, hey, we want to be a part of this too. We're starting off the decade right, and we're making not just a 9-day cleanse change or 11-day change. We're making, this is a lifestyle change, and we're moving the needle in everybody's life, starting with ourselves. Yeah. So I'm so fired up. I know we're a couple minutes over. Mom, Joanie McLeod, everybody show her some love in the chats. Thank you for that wisdom. Thank you for that experience. We are so, I know I would love to go run 1,000 miles. Not sure I can do it, but you've inspired me to at least dream. So we love you guys. We're going to see you in 2020. The next call is going to be in 2020. We are so excited for the decade that is ahead. We love each and every one of you, and we are excited. If you have any questions about the IsaBody Challenge or anything, shoot Otter or I a text or post your questions on Freedom Living Team Business. We love you guys, and we'll see you this time next week.
Bye.
See you guys.